What's up, this is Spherical, and welcome to Saving You From Yourself. This is a game done for the Transgal Jam 2, and submitted to the Melbourne Queer Games Jam. It's about gatekeeping in the trans community, especially for trans women. So, forewarning, I don't know much of anything about this game, but there may be some transphobia in it. It seems like that's the case, so, viewer discretion advised. I'm not sure what other trigger warnings might apply to this, unfortunately, so, just view with caution. But, past that, let's get into it. Oh, okay, cool. Content warning: this game contains flashing images, contains the use of unprescribed hormones, the unlicensed practice of medicine, and gatekeeping. The content is potentially upsetting. Please take care of yourself and do not play if you need uplifting content. I understand. Whew, let's get into it. You are a transgender therapist. Your job is not to facilitate accessing medical care, but to prevent people from making mistakes. The patients you encounter might regret transitioning. Your job is to protect them from that. Only you can decide who is really transgender. Oh boy. Remember, each of them only wants one thing from you: access to medical care. Don't give it to them unless you are sure they deserve it. You greet your first patient of the day. Arl, you call out. She stands up. Patient information: legal name James Williams, sex assigned at birth, male, age 22. Arl, you may come in. These are questions that, get asked by, like, everybody on the way to... Excuse you, Panic, I'm trying to record. How long have you identified as a woman? I'm not sure how to place a date on something like that. I mean, do you remember the first time you felt you identified with your gender? Tell me when you decided to transition, then. I was 14, but I was afraid of what my parents would do to me, so I decided to wait until I had a place of my own. It took longer than I expected, though. We spend the rest of the session discussing this topic. Time to wrap this up. She handed me a check for $175. I was the only therapist in the area open to treat transgender patients. She paused for a moment. May I have approval for hormones? I'm sorry, but I think you and I need to spend more time together first. I think I've heard enough. I'll write you a letter, but I encourage you to continue therapy with me. I mean, yeah, processing transitioning can be difficult. Panic, stop. It's completely... You ruined it, Panic. You fucking ruined it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was really scared you wouldn't accept me. The truth is that I sold half my video games to make it to this appointment. I can't afford to keep going, but I'll never forget the kindness you've shown me. Will you waive the $35 fee? Yes! Yes, I got a letter. I know, I can't believe it either, but I thought for sure they'd be terrible. You should totally try them too. I have my blood work appointment this Friday. I can't wait, I'm so excited. They took her blood. After results were back, they wrote Arl a prescription. She picked up her prescription the next day and moved on with the rest of her life. Her life was not easy, but it was the only life that she had, and only she could live it. She did not regret her decision to transition. Okay, the end. Play again. It was done for a game jam, so it's not a super long piece. But since it is kind of short, let's see all of the options. Get your first patient of the day. This first option was not super triggering, but this next one might. Tell me about your ideal body. She tenses up at this question. It's obvious that it makes her uncomfortable. I ask her for concrete details, testing her knowledge of the effects of hormones. She knows what they do, but is clearly uneasy about discussing her own body, because she has dysphoria. I spend the rest of the session teasing apart this. She states that the effects of testosterone on her body bother her, and that she would like to start hormones as soon as possible. To wrap this up, her appointment is almost over. Okay. sorry, but I think you and I need to spend some more time together first. Oh. Arl went back to her car without a letter of approval for hormones. Why did I think just seeing a therapist would mean I could transition? How could I be so stupid? I'm an idiot. Why did I think anything would be so simple? She meant to meet her friend the next day. So you can't get hormones? That's okay, I know a place. Come with me. Arl went with her friend Denise. They drove for about 2 hours before they arrived. Ugh. The middle of nowhere opened up to a parking lot. Arl felt dwarfed by the huge red store in the middle of nowhere with a sign that simply stated, "Feed." Denise let Arl inside. She led Arl to the back where there were small bottles and blister packets and boxes of syringes. "Want some?" she offered, holding a blister packet of estrogen syringes towards her. "That's okay. I think I'll wait and see what my therapist says next month." "Suit yourself." A little over 1 month later. "Arl?" you ask. She stands up. "You may come in." You stare at her, but she avoids your eye contact. It's clear to you that she isn't actually here for therapy. She just wants a letter. "Tell me how you decided on the name Arl." "My name was chosen based on my favorite video game character," Arl chirped cheerfully. She continues talking about herself. You learn that she likes video games, has a pet axolotl, and is going to college with a major in gerontology. None of these things have anything to do with her gender. "Why do you want to transition? You could do all of these things as a man," says the expert. Fuck. "I just do. I want to be able to decide how my body changes and what kind of gender society views me as." You moved from topic to topic until the session ended. Her mood changed as you wrapped up the session. You knew what was coming next. You collected your fee from her shaking hand. "Will you write me a letter? Please, I just want to transition." Her voice was shaking. And I know from the last one that she didn't have much money to begin with, which is such a problem with the trans community, that a lot of us are in poverty. Fuck. Okay, let's... She breathed a sigh of relief, as if a burden had been lifted from her shoulders. "Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me." You charge her your typical fees and set her on her way, so you don't even get an option to waive the fee. It was scary, and in the end she sold a lot of things to keep up with the psychologist's fees. Arl misses her Pokemon greatly, but there will be other Nintendo consoles and other Pokemon games. She still has her pet and the things that really mattered to her. She went to her appointment a few days later. They wrote Arl a prescription. Okay. I'm scared. Let's talk about your sexuality, because that's not invasive. She is clearly uncomfortable with this line of questioning, as she should be. I don't think I have any preference as long as I felt loved. One day I'd like to be with someone, but I don't really care about that kind of thing. Transgender people have a harder time dating. Ooh, not necessarily true. Not true. What would you do if you never found someone because you're trans? Fuck. What an asshole. I know that I'm choosing to play the therapist this way to see all of the options, but like shit. Ugh. I would learn to love myself, Arl said. You continued for the rest of the session to discuss this topic. Oh, I feel like such a dick. Okay. Hey, I got rejected again, Arl said. And she paused for a moment. Could you take me there again? Of course. It's getting late. I'll take you there in the morning. They arrived. They entered. Your body will still make tea, but don't worry, I have a solution. They're called castration rings, and they stop the problem right at the... Oh, no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Okay. So I want to take a moment. Finding a therapist who is willing to work with you and a doctor who is willing to work with you can be really hard. It's always a good idea to seek out, like, there are Facebook groups for trans people, and there are support groups around, and you can ask them what gender therapists they have used. You will get good stories and bad stories about any manner of doctors. But they will tell you the ones that you need to avoid, usually. I am in a couple of different groups for trans guys, and I've heard lots of very good counsel on which doctors not to go to for top surgery, so, community is a great resource. I definitely do not use drugs or fucking castration rings that are not regulated by a doctor. It is so much more dangerous, and you will definitely get hurt. It's just a bad time. And if you're in an area that, like, when I was first starting my transition, I was in North Carolina, and where I was at, there was a grand total of one endocrinologist who did all of the hormone therapy for, like, all of the trans people in the region, and it was a lot of trans people. And he was, like, 80, so I don't know what the plan is once he retires, but yeah. But hopefully they will have someone else that will come up and start using transgender medicine, or start practicing transgender medicine. And there is always the option of asking someone you care about to go, or to take you to, like, a bigger city where there may be more doctors who you can consult for, like, regulated hormones. Yeah, just please don't do this. You are worth so much more than weird, back alley, dangerous drugs. You can find estrogen or testosterone or whatever you need through a legitimate channel. You just reach out to the community around you, and there are ways. Just please don't do this to yourself. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. I'm sorry I scared you. It was scary when I did it. I was alone. There wasn't anyone back then to make sure I was okay. Didn't it hurt? Do you think that surgery doesn't hurt? In the end, it's all the same. Transitioning's painful. It doesn't have to be. I mean, to be fair, there is often, I mean, yeah, surgery can hurt. You can have long recovery periods for it, but there are ways to do it safely and ways to avoid, like, infection, which makes things so much worse. Anyway, I wish I could offer more. I hope things go better next month. Just remember to be careful trusting your therapist too much. There are a lot of them who just want to make you wait because it brings them money. Denise paused. Don't change yourself just because you think it'll make them approve you. Arl nodded. We can go again next month if you want. I mean, it's reviews like this that, like, support groups and Facebook groups can be really good for. But for particular therapists, please don't let anyone tell you not to go to a therapist because they just want money. A lot of doctors really do genuinely want to give you health care and, like, help you. Anyway. She looked like a prisoner awaiting judgment. She didn't seem to notice you, lost in thought. Arl, you may come in. She stands up. Patient information. Legal name James Williams. Sex assigned at birth, male, age 23. You'll lead her to your office. Tell me about your childhood. Which did you like more, little boy things or little girl things? I will have you know that I loved Easy Bake Ovens and dolls as a kid. I watched Sailor Moon all the fucking time. I still do, because it's a damn good show. And that doesn't make me any less of a boy. She leaned over my desk, taking up space that did not belong to her. That did not belong. Ooh, damn. Does it really matter? She said coolly. I've been coming here for 3 months. I've paid over $500. Whew. I'm obviously not actively psychotic. I'm consenting, and I understand what I am consenting to. Tell me why that isn't enough. You're right, it is enough. Arl did not regret her decision. She just wished that she hadn't been required to make so many sacrifices to get to this point. Her home felt empty after she came back from classes. She got blood work. It stung, and she teared up a little. She picked up her prescription. It ate into her small food budget, but she did not regret it. It was still better than the alternative. I knew this was going to be hard. Do it. Do it. I could probably tell you the answer to this, but what would you do if I told you that you could never transition? I would ignore you and find a way, she said flatly. She cut you off as you began to explore this topic with more hypothetical questions. Are you going to write me an approval letter for hormones or not? I need more time to evaluate you. I've heard enough. I'm done. She left without paying you or making another appointment. I'm really worried. I'm scared, Arl said. They went into the feed store together. You never saw her again. It is obvious now that she wasn't serious about transitioning. You exist to protect people who aren't serious from making a mistake. You did not take this job to be liked. You did not do this job to make people happy. You do this to protect them. Today, you did your job. Ugh. 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 Fuck you. Fuck you. Well, that was hard. That was hard. You know what? I'm gonna do it one more time. I've heard enough. Yes, waive the fee. They wrote Arl a prescription. She picked up her prescription the next day and moved on with the rest of her life. Her life was not easy, but it was the only life that she had, and only she could live it. She did not regret her decision to transition. That's how it should be. Okay. Just reach out, find your community, find the group that you can trust, use your resources, and never, never, never take back alley hormones or get surgery from somewhere that isn't a hospital. Just be careful. and take care of yourself. I love you, and I see you for who you want to be, and who you are. Thank you guys so much for watching and for checking this out. I'm going to leave the link to this in the description, as well as the developer information I can find, and I hope you have a great week, a great day, a great life, and I hope you feel loved. Talk to somebody who makes you feel good about yourself. You deserve it. Bye.